everyone. This lesson we are adding unlike fractions. So our operation is addition, but the reason why we are working on unlike fractions is because we need to figure out what to do when our fractions have different denominators. Unfortunately, I can't just add across. I have to get the denominators to be the same. And we do that by finding the least common multiple. So, and they might call it the least common denominator, but it's the same thing as finding the least common multiple of the denominators. So remember what we did is we drew a big M, and we put the denominators that we want to change. We want to change them to be the same. So I write them at the top, a 3 and a 4. And I'm going to start multiplying up until they find a match. So 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, 3 times 4 is 12. I'm going to stop there and start multiplying my 4s until I see a match. Let's see if I can find one. 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12. Look at that. Do you see the match? Their least common multiple, or in this case, the common denominator that I need to change these into is what they match. They match 12. So how do I get I need my answer to be a 12. How do I get these into a 12? Because if these both were a 12, then I can just add across because I would have the same denominator. So now that we know that it needs to be a 12, how do I fix and change these into a 12? We're going to do that by multiplying. So if I change a 3 into a 12, I can do that by multiplying 3 times a 4, because 3 times 4 gives me a 12. And whatever you multiply the bottom, you have to do it to the top as well. So my new fraction here is 4 times 1, which is 4, and my new denominator, which needed to be a 12. Our operation is still addition. How do I change a 4 into a 12? I need to multiply it times 3 because 4 times 3 is 12. And you have to multiply it to the top as well. So 1 times 3 is 3. And 4 times 3 gives me the 12. Do you see why we needed to do that? Now I have like denominators and I can just add across. My denominator is the 12 and 4 plus 3 is 7. So there is our answer to our original problem. So I would say that 1/3 plus 1/4 equals 7/12. All right, let's go ahead and see another example. So the most important part in this lesson is remembering how to find the least common multiple, which they call the least common denominator, because we want the denominators to be the same. Let's do 1/5 plus 7/10. Okay, so draw your M, 5 and 10. I know already that 5 is a multiple of 10 because 5 times 2 is 10. So I know right away my denominator is going to be a 10. Luckily, this one is already a 10, so I'm not going to do anything to it, but I do need to change my 1/5. I'm going to multiply it times 2 because 5 times 2 will give me a 10. So my new fraction here is 2 times 1, which is 2, 2 times 5, which is 10, and now I can add across because I have the same denominators. So I bring my 10 over, and 7 plus 2 is 8. Now, be sure that you simplify your fractions. How do I simplify 8/10? Well, 8 and 10, do they have a common factor? Start with a low one if you need to. Let's try it this way. Do you know that 2 can go into 8 and 2 can go into 10? Or I could say both of these are divisible by 2. If that's the case, just go ahead and divide it by 2 and see if that simplifies it, or how far it simplifies it, because you want it simplified to the smallest it can be. 8 divided by 2 is 4, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. Does 4 and 5 share any other factors other than 1? They don't, right? So I was able to go ahead and simplify it. The common factor that they shared was 2, and if you divided the top and bottom, it simplified it to 4/5. All right, you guys, so I'm going to do another example with a different scenario. So we've seen where the denominator that they share was already in one of the fractions, so that was nice. We've seen one where they were both needing to be changed. We just saw how we can simplify. Let's go ahead and find another one. Let's say I have 2/5 plus 1/2. Okay, so 5 and 2. I don't know what they both share. I know they're not the same, so we're going to have to start multiplying up. So I have a 5 and a 2, and then start multiplying up until they hit a number they both share by multiplying, right? So count up by 5s. We have 5, 10, 15, 20. I'm going to stop there. Let's go to my 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Oh, there you go. Look, they have a match. That means they both have a common multiple of 10, which means my denominator for my answer has to be a 10. Well, that means I got to change both of these into a 10. So how do I do that? I can change a 5 into a 10 by multiplying it by 2, which means you need to multiply the top by 2. I can change a 2 into a 10 by multiplying it times 5, which means you got to multiply the top by 5. Now let's rewrite our new fractions. So it'll be 4 over 10 plus 5 over 10, because I multiplied both of these and both of these. Now that I have a 10 as my common denominator, I can just bring it over, and 4 plus 5 is 9. Is 9/10 all the way simplified? Yes, it is. 9 and 10, they do not share any factors other than the number 1. All right, you guys, I hope that helps you with whatever you're working on. Be sure to practice. The more you practice the steps, the easier it will be for you. Repetition is key. All right, you guys, talk to you later.